you remember that they're changing my voice, the first thing I'd like to point out is that the video of Snoop Dogg and his song The Dream, to me, is clearly satanic. Very, very satanic. When I was younger and I saw certain Crip imagery, some of it came off like they're very much into the fact that people get killed, but it wasn't all the way satanic. And I knew that people were saying things like gangs do the devil's work for him and so on and so forth, and that they're doing the quote-unquote white man's work and so on and so forth. And during the course of my life, I was in a profound spiritual struggle with the dark elements of gang life, including Crip gang life, trying to get them to do the right thing. I describe myself as the voice of reason in the Crip gang. I describe Crip as meaning Christ rest in peace. I think a lot of them don't describe it that way. And community revolution and progress, a lot of them historically did describe it that way. But some, certainly maybe a lot of them didn't. That's important to know. People shouldn't be in criminal street gangs, and they shouldn't be working for the government either. They shouldn't be working for either evil corporations. They should be rallying to me and insisting on a war on poverty plan and a fair economy where people can have a moral life. The economy is satanic. How they think they should deal with scarcity is by giving the money to the worst people. Even Tucker Carlson, who is best described as a Republican, said that. They give the money to the worst people. Pretty straightforward. It's a dog-eat-dog system. It's a crony capitalist system. It's unfair. It's not it's not what you know. It's, unfortunately, who you know. And that's wrong. And there's all kinds of rape by deception. There's all kinds of horrible things, right? Even the word horrible, is a play on words for horrible, and horror is horror. There's two things you can take from that. One, the devil is saying either you help them whore everybody, women and children, what have you, and males to a large degree, adult males, or there's going to be horror. And God is saying, no, either you obey my son, or whatever the devil is trying to threaten you with is peanuts compared to what's going to happen. Now, do you fear some sniveling devil? Or God Almighty and the fierce warriors of heaven, which are not fairies? That's why that cross in the background is satanic, because it is a fairy-colored cross. Now, the rainbow is a very controversial symbol, because in the Bible, it actually is said to have holy meaning, where in popular culture it has very secular, profane meaning. It means basically being gay or something. Okay? And oftentimes people say that Lucifer, to them, right, is the god of the rainbow, and Luciferian, right, fairy, Pharisee, fairies. So Snoop Dogg in that video, I didn't hear this video itself. To me, from the evidence I'm given, got on some bitch fucking shit. Now, it could be related to them firing back for me saying that Young Noble is not a son of God. I put that there in the title to make the distinction for the Marissa and Milo Bucks playlist. And I've been meaning to change it, but not because of any pressure, because I felt like, hey, they're going to misunderstand that. And I was there ironically, to clear up a misunderstanding that the Young Noble suicide, that, because they didn't show a picture of myself, that I'm not referring to him, and that I'm not some crazy person that thinks that he's fucking Young Noble. But I'm somebody who knows who I am, who in my Proof I'm Christ playlist to this day, which stands firm and shows that they have no viable counter-argument. The word Marshall is marital scramble. What is your argument that that's in my head? Is your argument that in Psalm 19, that the champion is the Son of God, the champion, the Son of God, is the Son of God? Is your argument that that's in my head? Is your argument that in Proverbs 16:10, where it says a divine verdict is on the mouth of a king, that that's in my head? Or the lips of a king, the actions? Or Proverbs 16:12, when the throne is established in justice? Or the David versus Goliath, right? The root and offspring of David and the heir to his throne? Both the source of David's power, the heir to his throne. You see the different translations? Is your argument that that's in my head? Is your argument that in 1 Samuel 17, when he says, this day I will strike you down and cut off your head, and the whole world will know that there's a God in Israel, which definitively overkills that moral martial arts in the divine order are a way to convey spiritual power and to prove the spirit that you're in? And of course, tech, breeding, cheating, and generational ill-gotten gains, okay, have killed people's ability to prove spiritual power after my flesh dies. I'm the last one who ever proved it, and I'm the person who proved it the best with the most important martial art challenge ever. There's no viable counter arguments possible for these arguments. I'm somebody who's been making certain arguments for years and years. And some of them were extremely controversial. I said there's a great conspiracy. It's true, and I scrambled to make tons, hundreds and hundreds of videos about it. I committed to that. And I was right. And it was far overkill by the Epstein letter. He worked for the CIA. And there's MI6 and the Mossad involved, as the story goes. And there's all these guys from different walks of life, politicians, actors, businessmen. This collaboration. And they weren't afraid to engage in those activities. And look at Prince Andrew. Did he get locked up for it? No. They're operating with a degree of impunity, which fits the description of a great conspiracy with various circles leading up to one that I defined as Illuminati. Because the Adam Weishaupt conspiracy was very similar to what they're doing, and the evidence shows us that there's some connections there. Some people claim the Marquis de Sade, was a part of the Illuminati or something to that effect, and we see that sexual sadism is a huge part of it. We see the sexual coercion, sextortion. We see all the elements there. So when you compare the two models side by side, is it a great conspiracy society? Or is this kind of a society with just small groups of business partnerships, doing a little bit something here and there? No. It fits the first model better. So the most controversial and confusing thing that I claimed over the course of my videos was proven right. It is more straightforward by far that I'm the Son of God. What is your viable counterargument? And if you're going to argue that the Snoop Dogg video isn't satanic, he's just one of these American Christians who means well, he just happens to look different, then explain to me why he's so similar to those occultists, those Satanists. Look at the Church of Satan when they get dressed up in those suits. Look at his hair. Is it just, some harmless black hairstyle? No. Certain types of black people, when they look a certain type of way, are trying to communicate the occult and Satanism. That's textbook. May as well have an upside-down cross there. But a fairy cross, because it's mocking God. God is a warrior. You think David was acting like a fairy clicking his heels like Peter Pan in the story? And if that story was meant to convey that, it's superimposed on a very serious event where people aren't messing around and they're not acting like a fairy. So when you do the if-then statement, it checks out. And I know for sure that it's superimposed on the top martial artist ever possible and his single combat challenge. It didn't matter if you brought, someone like Bruce Lee. It didn't matter if you brought Goliath. It didn't matter who you brought. An Olympic athlete. Okay, they're all like, the gap between me and the next person is too great. I would beat them quickly. And my challenge made that clear. There's a thin line between me striking somebody down and cutting off their head and screaming how I've proven my point and my sparring challenge. Because that fierceness was conveyed. Their immaturity when they changed my videos, the immaturity of the community that overkilled us, like a collective immaturity when they didn't rally to me, when females shunned me. It overkilled components that made it clear that I am the top martial artist ever possible. And this society full of petty control freaks, full of hypersensitive types from various groups, would never in their wildest dreams let my challenge go unchecked if they had the ability to beat me. I overkilled it a zillion times over. I went the distance. I commented on so many videos. I posted so many videos about it on different platforms, TikTok, YouTube. Some cases getting thousands of views, some cases getting hundreds, some cases just getting a few. My bumper sticker. When all is said and done, there are so many countless thousands of people that are aware of my top martial arts challenge. And early on when I got very angry, I said it's like I slapped him across the face with $60,000, with $1 million, with $100 million, what have you, and said, who the fuck are you to think that you would have a chance? And they just tail tucked and whimpered under a blanket. Anyone who would argue that it's not magically not valid. It is valid in reality. Who gives a fuck about magic? And when I usually say the term magically, okay, it's so they don't take me out of context.